Hi, Mum. It's Nick here, and I've got some photos to show you. Photos with you in them, and so mainly some photos from Portugal, but also from some other places as well. So I'm just going to get the photos up so that you can see them. So you should be able to see the photos here now, and you might still see me in the little box up here as well. So here's the first photo. This is from the Lake District, from High Beeld, the cottage that we go to in the Lake District. And this was probably taken 20 years ago, I would think, because you're sitting there on the sofa with Hamish. And Hamish has got his headphones on, listening to something on the tape recorder, I think. And you are also listening to something on the tape recorder. So I'm not quite sure what it is you're listening to. And I can see on the chair there your jacket. I think you've still got that jacket actually. And here you are also in the Lake District on the same sofa, and that is Mari, where Mari was a little girl. So I would think she was about 3 years old there. And you're reading a book together. I can't see what the book is about, but a lovely photo there of you. And here we are outside the house in the Lake District, outside High Beeld. So this is you, Mum. And then we've got Hamish here in the yellow jacket with his hat on. And then we've got Mari in her yellow rainproof jacket with her pink hat on. And me with Rory in a sort of rucksack carrier on my back. And a lovely sunny day, but I guess it was a bit cold because we all had our jackets on. Now, this is also in the Lake District, also in High Beeld. This is above the house, and we put a hammock up and a tent. And this is you, Mum, lying in the hammock with Mari. And maybe you're telling her a story or something like that. Now, this is a photo taken in your house in Marlow, where you are now. I think this was Christmas time. So this is Fiona sitting here, Rory as a baby who must be about a year old. This is the back of Mari's head. This looks like Alex sitting on the floor. Tim sitting on your sofa. You still got these sofas, I think. Jack sitting on Tim's lap. And that's you, Mum. And it looks like you've got the Christmas cracker crown hat on your head. And on another sofa there, this is also Christmas time. This is me, Nick, here sitting on the end. And then Bally. And then you, Mum, with your Christmas crown hat on and a cup of tea. And here you are reading Rory a story. So I think this is the same Christmas time. Rory must have been about a year old, and you're sitting there reading him a story. And again, still sitting there on your lap, reading you a story. And your piano, Mum. And your sofas, you still have these sofas. You must be sitting on one of these sofas now as you're watching the television. And here we are at Beaconscott. If you remember the model village in Beaconsfield. And this is you, Mum, and then Fiona and Rory. Now, here we are in Portugal. Here you are, Mum, with 3 of your grandchildren and Fiona. So this is the villa, 64A. This is Fiona sitting here. This is Mari with her blue and pink shirt on. Hamish standing behind her. Rory sitting on the steps next to you with his nappy on. And then you. So this would have been taken about 16 years ago, I would think, because Rory must be about 2 there. And here's a photo of you, Mum, in our house in Newcastle. If you remember, I live in Newcastle, all the way north, about 300 miles north, 5 hours drive. So this is you, Mum. This is Mari sitting next to you. And then Rory in his red baby grow eating, I don't know, breakfast or something like this. And here is you, Mum. And what you're doing here is you're actually sitting at the piano with Hamish. So this is Hamish, this is you. And you can't really see it, but you are actually sitting next to the grand piano that used to be in your house in Barton Road. And if you remember, Grandma Cherry gave the piano to me, and we took it all the way up here to Newcastle. So a nice photo here, Mum, with you there in the background, and Hamish and Mari. And this is in Portugal. And this is on the salt flats near to Tavira. Do you remember where they would fill up these big flat areas with seawater and then let it all evaporate, and it made salt? And so I think maybe that you, Mum, had come with us into town to do a bit of shopping in Tavira, and we must have stopped here to take a photo. So yes, here you are, Mum. Hamish and Mari here at the salt flats. This is Tavira in the background that you can see. And this sort of brackish green and lilac plant that used to grow all around the edges of the salt marsh. I don't know what that plant is. Maybe you know what that plant is, Mum. Yep, and here you are walking along with Hamish and Mari next to these big flat areas where they used to let the sea in, the salty sea, and then the sea would all evaporate, and then it would leave behind lots of salt that they could scrape up. And here we are on the beach, Mum. So this is you, Mum, and Mari and Rory. And it looks like they're both having chocolate ice creams. But it doesn't look like you've got a lolly. Maybe you didn't want a lolly. I don't know. Here we are getting chocolate all the way around their faces. Looks like you are chewing something, Mum, so maybe you did have an ice cream or lolly. Maybe you'd already finished it or something like that. Now, this is you, Mum, and Mari in Portugal. And this is in the small village that we call Cachela Vella, which is about 3 miles from Cabanas. So in the background here, you can see the sandbar, which stretches all the way to Cabanas. And this is the little village with a church in it and some restaurants and these cobbled streets around it. And here you are sitting down there. This must be low tide because the sea's out, and you've got the kind of green seaweed here left behind. And then this is you and Mari sitting in a fisherman's boat. This would have been a sardine boat tied up with a rope, and it's got the anchor there. So this is low tide at Portugal. And here you are at the front in Cabanas. So this is Mari in her green dress with her orange flip-flop sandals. You and, oh, it's getting a bit big here. And then this is Rory in his yellow t-shirt with very long hair. I forgot how long his hair had got. And some of these sort of palm tree down at the front. So this is actually in Cabanas, the road that used to go along the front in Cabanas. And here a lovely photo, close-up photo. There you are, Mum, smiling nicely. And Mari with her sunglasses on, and Rory. And the sea in the background. And then the sandbar that you take the little boat over to. And here we are walking back to the villa. So you're holding Rory's hand here. This is Rory, making a funny sort of shape of some sort with a spider on his t-shirt. And then this is you, Mum. And then this is Hamish, who's the eldest. And so Hamish here would be about 14 or 15 years old, I would think. And Hamish is now a house officer doctor in Glasgow, if you remember. And then in the background, you can see Jamie in the pushchair being pushed by Mari with her lovely coloured shirt. So this is just very close to the villa. I think maybe this is the villa down here in the background in the far left. That's 64A. And we must be walking into town, maybe to do some shopping or something like this. Now here you are, Mum, with another of the grandchildren. Again, I think this is probably taken in Portugal. I think this is probably Jamie. I might be getting into trouble for not remembering which one, but I think that's probably Jamie when he was quite a newborn baby. Here you are again. So this is in the villa in Portugal, and Jamie is a little baby. And here you are, Mum, sitting in the sand dunes on the beach in Cabanas. And you're sitting here with Rory, who's now 18 years old. Huge compared to him there. So here he was, just a little boy. I would think he's probably about 4 years old. But these are the lovely sand dunes in Portugal. If you remember, we went there just before Christmas last year, just a few months ago now. You can see in the distance here, the Cabanas. You can just about see some cranes that are obviously making some new buildings there. Now, this, I think, was either Caroline's wedding or christening or something like this. So this is Mari, and this is you, and this is Kit, and then that's Chris in the background there. Now here we are back in Portugal. This is you, Mum, holding Jamie's hand. So here's my youngest. So Jamie here would be about 3 years old, I would think. And then Rory, who here would be about 8 years old. And this is near the market in Tavira itself. So I think we might have been going in shopping to get some fish or something like that. And here you are sitting with Jamie in the middle of the market. I don't know if you remember this market, but this is where you could buy the fresh fish indoors. And you're sitting there looking after Jamie whilst probably I was doing the shopping or something. Now, look at this, Mum. This photo was taken at France's wedding. So you remember that your sister Josephine has 2 children, Caroline and Francis, and this is Francis's wedding. And this was in Sheffield somewhere. And this is Alex, and then Mari. And then we got Jack, quite tall. Felicity. Jamie. This is you in the middle of all your grandchildren. Rory, and then at the front here, Hamish playing the guitar. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 grandchildren there. Quite a lot, eh? And here's a bigger photo of all of us. So this is Mari. This is Isabella, who is Caroline's daughter. This is me. This is Caroline. This is Fiona. This is Chris in the background. This is Kit. This is Tim here with his big fat tum. And then Jane. And then at the front we have Jack, Felicity, Jamie, you, Rory, Alex, and Hamish. So lovely photo there of all your family, lots of us there, lots of grandchildren and 3 sons. Now here we are sitting in the back outside Chris's house in Holtsborough. So this is you, Mum, the glass of wine. This looks like Chris and Kit. And then this is Jane and Tim. And Tim looks like he's had too much beer again. And then again, a very old photo. This is Fiona and you, Mum, Tim and Chris, and this must be Hamish. So this photo is probably 25 years old, really quite a long time ago. And again, slightly out of focus. Dad, Chris, Tim, me, Nick. Here you are, Mum. Fiona Bally. And this must be Hamish, I would think. This photo is you and Jamie, and you're sitting at the kitchen table at our house here in Newcastle. So if you remember, Mum, I live in Newcastle, a long way north, maybe 300 miles away. It takes a long time to get here. But here you are doing some reading with Jamie. And again, a close-up there of you and Jamie sitting together nicely. And reading books. I think probably Jamie was practicing his reading. Probably Jamie was actually doing his schoolwork and reading to you. And here we are together. This is you, Mum. This is Riley and Isabella, Jamie, Fiona, Rory, and me. And we are at a rugby festival, I think. I think Jamie was playing a rugby match and you came along to watch. Now, this is a photo from near Newcastle here. This is the beach at Dunstanburgh, which is probably about 20 miles from Newcastle. And you came up to stay for a few days and you and me walked along this beach. We walked all the way along the dunes and we brought our dog, the black dog here, which is Suki. And we did a walk, you and me together. We actually walked to a pub. Now, this is in Portugal. And you came with me and we went to a bar in Cabanas for a drink. And so here you are with a glass of red wine, enjoying a nice drink in the evening. And this is at the Donkey in Marlow. And you and me went out to have a meal and a glass of beer. So here you are, Mum, at the Donkey in Marlow, looking at the menu, deciding what you're going to have to eat. And here we are again in the Donkey, the pub in Marlow. Mum drinking beer. We've both got two lovely large glasses of beer there. And here we are back in Portugal. So this is at the front in Cabanas. This is the wooden slope that you walk down to get the boat. And this is Chris in his very colourful shirt. And then this is you, Mum, here in the background. And Tim here in the blue with his fat tummy and his stripy shorts. And we went to Portugal, if you remember, just a few months ago in October. And just the four of us, so you, Mum, Tim, Chris, and me, Nick. And we had a lovely few days together there. And here you are, Mum, with Chris and Tim. And we're waiting for the boat to come so that we can get the boat over to the sandbar. And we're standing here, and this is me, Nick. I've got a beard here. And Tim, and you. And here we're actually on the boat, and the fisherman's taking us over the lagoon to the island. And we've now got to the Sandbar Island, and we've got off. And we are walking over the big wooden boardwalk that takes us all the way to the far side of the beach. So this is Chris with his hat on and you. And now we've got to the beach. This is a picture of me, Nick, and you, Mum, at the beach. And here we've got me and Chris and you. And again, on the beach in Portugal. This is you, Mum, in the sunshine, and Tim and Chris. And we had a lovely few days there. So I'm going to stop the recording there, Mum. I will make some more photos another time. So this is me, Nick, and you can see I'm recording this from the university here. It says here, from Newcastle for the world. And here you can see the emblem from Newcastle University. So this is where I am at the minute, Newcastle University. And I've made the photo program for you to watch. I hope you enjoyed that. And I'll be making a few more programs that you can watch on your telly. So I hope you enjoyed it. All right then. Bye.